here in Salerno, Italy, where during the Italian campaign of World War II, the Germans, Americans, English, Italians, and Canadians all fought. This took place on September 3rd, 1943, in the southwest quadrant of Italy.
Operation Baytown was launched on September 3, 1943. It began with British forces traveling across the Strait of Messina to Calabria. Days later, British and American troops landed hundreds miles north of Salerno. Their plan was simple. The northern troops would throw a net across the Italian peninsula while the British army chased the Germans into it from the south.
Some amazing soldiers and generals fought here. For example, General Mark W. Clark, known for leading the 5th Army in the capture of Rome in 1944. General Bernard Montgomery, in command of the Allied group's forces during Operation Overlord until the Battle of Normandy, and General Sir Howard Alexander. He oversaw the final stages of Dunkirk evacuation. He also served as Commander-in-Chief in the Middle East. They were the key reason why we won the war. But they did not have an easy job. They had their work cut out for them. They were up against people like Erwin Rommel, known for the leadership of the German and Italian forces in the North Africa campaign. Albert Kistering, Commander-in-Chief of the Mediterranean Theater, and was also the most highly decorated Nazi soldier. Hermann von Hertinghoff commanded German troops in German-occupied Italy. Hermann Black commanded the Panzer Division of World War II and was given the highest honor in Russia. And Hermann Göring created the Gestapo.
Allied commanders expected a relatively easy invasion. A secret agreement with the new Italian government led by Pietro Badoglio signed 3rd of September. This would neutralize the Italian forces, leaving only German divisions offering resistance. But things proved more difficult than anticipated. The Germans immediately seized Italian military installations upon hearing of their capitulation, imprisoned their former allies, and fired on their clueless ships. German defenses were more secure than the Allies expected when they made their landings in Salerno. By the time the Allies threw their net, the Germans had moved beyond it to the north and had established a defensive line known as the Gustav Line, about 75 miles north of Naples.
Allied commanders on the ground believed that they were positioned to crush German lines that stretched from Peninsula to Florence. When they launched Operation Baytown, British 8th Army 13th Corps were met with very light opposition from the Italian troops, who surrendered almost immediately. The Germans did not believe that Calabria landing would have been the main point of the attack. Most German panzer divisions were prepared in Banagaria. On September 4th, the Allies made it up to Banagaria, and on the 7th, they had made contact with the Kunjer battle group. Other British groups landed behind the Nocturia defense and were attacked on both sides until the attack stopped at dusk. Several factors now worked in the strength of the Germans' hands.
The rugged terrain of the peninsula slowed the invading armies. Allies could only move as fast as their engineers could clear obstructions, and reinforcements from Germany arrived just as the Allies began directing more of their new recruits from Britain in invasion for a 1943 cross-invasion. On September 8, 1943, the invasion of Italy came to an anticlimactic end when Italy surrendered, but the Germans continued to attack the Allies. On September 9th, the Luftwaffe began bombing the invasion beaches, but the Luftwaffe were quickly incapacitated as the Allies seized their aircraft fields. However, they were not able to secure the high ground held by German artillery, so they were unable to make use of the airfield. The Allies made several attempts to break through at Cassino. Allied bombers destroyed the ancient monastery on top of Monte Cassino in the mistaken belief that it served as a German observation tower. The Allies were wrong, and their misguided attack alienated Catholics around the world.
The Allies were pinned on both sides by the Germans and fought fiercely for 3 days to push past the German defenses. On September 12th, they were forced to take the defensive position, and they had no forces to form an attack against the Germans. The Germans launched their counterattack offense on the 13th and tried to find weak spots in the Allies' lines. American paratroopers came in on the 14th and reinforced the two battle lines of the 504th Division, but the night drop on the 15th attempts to disrupt the German troops' movements near Avano failed with significant casualties. However, the support from the Royal Navy and the 5th Army's artillery pushed the Germans back in their attempt to find weak spots in the Allied lines and allowed the Allies to take the offensive position. The 8th Army kept applying pressure to the toe of Italy to further distract the Germans from focusing on Operation Avalanche. On September 16th, the Germans decided to start withdrawing their troops on the 18th and 19th of September. The complete eradication of German forces of Italy would have to wait, though. Later on in Salerno, there was a mutiny around 500 men of the British 10th Ops, who refused to be assigned to the new battle casualty replacements. All men were eventually allowed to return to their units without punishment. It is now time to look at Naples, and the Germans took and provoked the rebellion of the population of Naples and were forced to evacuate. On October 1st, the Allied troops made their way into Naples and secured the position.
The 10th Army had almost defeated the Allies at the Salerno beachhead, but resistance from the Allies and the impending arrival of the 8th Army forced the Germans to retreat. By early October of 1943, southern Italy was in the Allies' hands. Lieutenant General Mark W. Clark was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross for his frontline leadership during the crisis.
When the Allies invaded Italy, there was estimated that 2,009 were killed, 7,050 were wounded, 3,001 went missing. For the Germans, 3,050 were missing, and estimated that 630 were killed.
The Allied invasion of Italy allowed use of southern Italy as a southern front into capturing northern Italy. When Italy was finally taken over, Germany lost one of its most powerful allies and was severely weakened. The Allied invasion of Italy was a success, despite the heavy casualties. It gave Allies control of the Mediterranean Sea, allowing more troop traffic, and southern Italy, allowing them into the rest of Italy. The Allied invasion of Sicily is what made the Allied invasion of southern Italy possible. Troops were able to move from Sicily onto the mainland and keep Sicily as a holding point. It was also the first step into the Allied invasion of Italy.